Hey everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me for another Mystery Mystic reading. We are diving into an Unsolved Mysteries case. I am a huge fan of Unsolved Mysteries. I've been watching it since back in the late 80s, watched the reboots throughout the years, and of course I've been watching the ones that have been on Netflix. So Netflix just dropped a new season on July 31st, 2024, and I had a feeling that there were going to be one or two cases that I would want to explore here at the reading table. So this is one of those cases. We are talking about Amanda Antoni, and her mysterious death was featured under the episode title Body in the Basement. Amanda was found dead in a pool of her blood in the basement of her Calgary home on October 26, 2015. The question is, was it a homicide? Or did she die from a freak accident? Police initially thought an intruder could have pushed her down the stairs or caused her to fall. However, after it was discovered that there was a lack of DNA evidence or foot or fingerprints from someone other than Amanda down in the area, like just in the home or down in the area where it occurred or where they found her, the police are now theorizing that Amanda could have fallen down the stairs, striking her head on a piggy bank that sat on the stairs ledge. And if you saw the video on Netflix and you saw how the basement stairs go down, you're like, oh my God. Like, for me being as clumsy as I am, I would need something to protect me from walking. Just it literally is just a drop, like going down the stairs. There's no cover. There's no I don't know. It was just a weird setup for me with how the basement was. Like you walking 1 minute in the dining room area, and then the next is like a drop to the basement, like the stairs. So there's that. They're saying that she sustained a nasty wound to her head that basically caused her to bleed out. And that is just wild, okay? That she was so delirious that she never made it back up the stairs. Her husband, Lee, was cleared of involvement, and no other suspects have been named or identified. Her husband was the last one who spoke to her on Saturday. And what's interesting is that he was on the phone with her, and the phone line abruptly cut off. And then he said he had tried to text her and call her while he was still away out of town, but she never picked up. And he just assumed that maybe the phone died and she was busy. She had a migraine. It was like, okay. So he didn't come home until Monday, and that's when she was discovered. So, because of the lack of evidence supporting someone else was in the scene, on scene with her. In December 2016, the Calgary police ruled her death accidental as a result of a fall down the stairs. There's other evidence that could indicate that there was an intruder involved. The neighbors think they saw someone running from her house around the time of all the, kerfuffle and the dogs were barking around 7:30 on that Saturday. And that's when that's when police think that maybe she fell, like not when she fell, but when she succumbed to her injuries. So maybe she fell maybe about 6 something in the evening. So really the question that we have today at the reading table is, was this a tragic freak accident, or something more sinister happened by someone else? And if it's someone else, can we get some clues on who that may be or what their motive was, right? All right, so I'm going to use the Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle. This is my 160 card deck. We're going to start with this one first. Okay. And then, if I feel it necessary, we'll go into the Mildred Payne's Oracle. This is different than what I typically do. But I keep getting this nudge to start with this one first. Hold on. I'm hoping that we can get some clarity on what happened here. We have hired help. Hired help. Life insurance or inheritance. Suburban. Okay. I'm going to actually set this section down. And let's go here. What happened to her? 2 or more. Like a ring. Hired help. Burial or grave. Impulse. That's interesting. I don't know what to make of that. Ooh. All of this is alleged, okay? All of it's alleged, but addiction, someone may have hired, heavy speculation. Timeline. Flight risk. Someone involved is or is prone. Hold on, let me scoot. Oops. Scoot this down. Is prone to fleeing or has left and come back and okay. Okay, so let's talk about it. There's a couple of concerning, well, not a couple, a few concerning. I do in this deck have cards like misadventure or an accident or someone slipped and fell or natural causes, those types of cards. And this is 160 cards. For these cards to come up, hired help, and murder for hire. That's alarming. Everything that I say in here is all alleged, okay? I was very much inclined to believe that this was just some tragic freak accident because of the absence of no DNA left behind, no footprints, which is very, very interesting. Like, how did that happen? Well, if they hit her enough where she is like completely knocked out and would likely be on their, she could succumb to her injuries, or it was assumed she died soon after. And you're dealing with somebody who is an expert at taking people's lives and covering it up and being stealth mode. Well, that could explain something. They may not have even needed to go in. Maybe the door was she opened the door. Hired help. Well, why would they be hired? Well, let's talk about those things. So we have life insurance or inheritance. There was never any mention in the episode about her husband getting an inheritance from her. Maybe the house. I don't know if they were renting or purchasing the home. Nor do we know anything about insurance policies or anything of that nature. Don't know. Don't know if Canada has like some kind of compulsory benefit when a spouse dies. I don't know, but someone could benefit or would have benefited from hiring to take her life. Okay. Now, she would be considered hired help because of her occupation. She just started a home cleaning business. And so it could be maybe, this is some sort of important clue. Her employment or, her employment. It could be something that maybe one of the people she worked for has some information that they don't even realize is helpful to the case about a situation they witnessed or they seen or they heard her talk about. Maybe not directly to them, but they know something. So it could be in her capacity as hired help herself. It could be there's important clues there. It doesn't mean that any of her clients did this, right? It doesn't mean that, but it could mean that there's a witness who doesn't realize they are a witness. But when you get sometimes two cards with similar keywords, such as this instance, it's telling us to look a little closer to that. Why would someone want to do something to her? Could it be monetary? We have here suburban. It looked like she lived in a suburban area. Tract homes. A home, someone's home. Addiction. Who was addicted? I don't think they mentioned anything about drugs being in her toxicology of when she died. So I don't think it's her, but someone around her, someone, that she knew about, someone that she could potentially have cared about at one point or another, dealing with addiction, not having them, I don't know, the power might go out. I can see the lights kind of flickering. This person is impulsive, desperate, does things on impulse, doesn't always think things through. A rash decision. What was a rash decision? Well, the last minute of not going. I'm not so sure. She says she was ill with a migraine. I'm not so sure that was really truly the case. And so that decision, that impulse decision to stay home, well, obviously we know what ended up happening. Amanda died. How would someone anticipate that she was going to be staying home or be at home? What is that about? Yeah. 2 or more people. 2 or more in the know. 2 or more witnesses. 2 or more people, though. Covering up or burying this information. Heavy speculation. There was heavy speculation around her husband, but then when his alibi checked out, that he was, captured on CCTV in, several hours away from where she's at, and his mother vouched that he was with his mom helping her that whole weekend. But nevertheless, you always suspect your spouse. But, in terms of heavy speculation, it thwarted to anyone else, not really. Was that heavy speculation rightfully placed? The police seem to say no, they cleared him. Did they clear him too soon? Did they look at every single thing? And perhaps what they were dealing with was someone who is an expert at hurting her, An expert at taking people's lives. Maybe didn't need to go downstairs and have their footprints trampled. Maybe there was some sort of struggle or a threat of struggle with this weapons card. Okay. There was some sort of threat of struggle. The piggy bank is interesting because they didn't mention, I don't know, and maybe I missed it, but they didn't mention anything saying like, there's like her blood. I mean, aside from the blood that could have come from when the shards of the piggy bank landed at the bottom of the stairs, was there any other indication that her head struck it? They said there was like a little divot in the wall from it, but I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. And it feels to me like it's leaning towards, with these cards, someone did this and was very good at what they did. Wearing gloves. You can see this person's got gloves on. They could have had an addiction. Also, it could be 2 or more people were trying to rob her. She could have been terrified to go up the stairs. As I'm starting to think about it, I'm starting to feel like the energies of the addiction, and let me just say this, the life insurance or inheritance, it could be a robbery because this is a monetary card. And it means somebody's life could be at risk. It doesn't always necessarily equate like right to a life insurance policy. Sure it could, and I'm sure you all will have your opinions about what this card could mean. And I welcome all different intuitive hits and takes, as long as we're respectful to the victim and to their family. We can explore what this may mean. But I'm starting to wonder if someone was like heavily addicted. It's 2 or more people who are experts at being like, thieves. Things went too far and made a rash, impulsive decision to hurt her. She's fearful for her life to go upstairs. One of the people left right away. That would explain how the witnesses / neighbors saw someone kind of scooting off into the night. The timeline offers the clues. Paying close attention to when the witness / neighbors saw the person running off into the distance. Did they really capture the time? What drew their attention, I think, was the dogs barking and kind of barking weirdly. This person or persons are flight risk. They could have already left the area by now. Or maybe they did and they came back and they left again. Okay. And this could indicate that a weapon, not the piggy bank, actually caused her injuries, and the piggy bank is a ruse. I mean, yeah. Or it could be that it was the piggy bank. And in grabbing the piggy bank, it's shoved into the wall with force and then pulled back and then hit on her head. And then she succumbed to her injuries after a while. They checked on her, these 2 or more people. I just can't shake, though, these cards, the murder for hire with the life insurance. It circles back to someone who had a financial interest or needed to secure their future somehow by her having to be gone. It could be a robbery gone wrong, for sure. That is where I'm leaning at. But it's with not just any robbery, with like some person who's never robbed someone before and who maybe tussles with her, because there was an overturned chair. There was signs of some struggle in her home at the top level, and her phone was cracked on the floor, face down, upstairs. Not downstairs, upstairs, where, the main floor, not in the basement. So there's something really peculiar about that. What do you all think the heavy speculation card is saying? Curious to hear what you think. Some people could probably even say, well, maybe it's the sister. But I don't know if that's, I guess it could be revenge, or, like you called CPS on me because I have drug issues and you got my child taken away. Yeah, that could warrant somebody lashing out, and maybe they always had an acrimonious relationship, him and Amanda and her sister-in-law, which is Lee's sister. And so maybe what this is saying is there's heavy speculation around the sister, but maybe that's just not the case of what really happened here. Could be that, I'm going to have to sit with these. Now that I feel with confidence that there is someone else involved and there's not this freak accident element, I'm now going to circle back and do the Mildred Payne's Secret Pocket Oracle reading and then go from there, because I just wasn't sure. I wasn't sure on this. I wanted to get confirmation. Let's see. I want to show you a card or two. Like health issues, natural causes. I don't know, alone. Needs medical attention, isolated. So there's cards like that in this deck. And so for these type of cards to come out, it is a little alarming. I'll just say that. So I'm going to pause here so we can do the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle and go from there. All right, I'll be right back. So then I got to thinking while I was moving the cards over, the phone records prove that he's where he's supposed to be at, wherever his mom lives, her husband, and that her phone is at her home. But if someone else is at the, who did this to her, that would explain the phone records. And, it could, point to him allegedly, hiring someone to do this. Allegedly. Now, again, it could just simply mean someone else who orchestrated this. Has nothing to do with the husband at all. But I get a sense he is where he said he was. That's why, that's why everything lines up with his alibi. That someone else is involved. And we've got 2 or more people is what the card says. And someone hired, or this is financially motivated. Spirit, can you give us some cards related to Amanda's death? What can you illuminate for us about what happened, who, what, when, all those things? We have pipe, foot, and she also was not SA'd. Or there's no evidence, I should say. I don't know. We'll just say that. There's no evidence. Yeah. One more. Okay. All right. The first card, Cauldron. Fertility is the first key word. Magical combinations, experimentation, somebody cooking up something, baking something, mixing something up, somebody in the mix. We have pipe, maybe a smoker, some kind of drugs. The addiction card is what made me think of this. The pipe card has the keyword, all the comforts of home. So this could be, he is at mom's house. She, is at Amanda's at home, okay? Someone could have gotten there by foot. This card can also represent some sort of physical altercation, her kicking someone else, someone kicking her, becoming quite violent. Like she opens the door, this person walks in. Again, there's no signs of forced entry. We have, and the foot card, before I move on to the moon, the foot, one of the key words is balance, or being grounded or connected to earthly matters, but balance. This could be that all of that chaos, maybe she lost her footing. So in addition to being injured, she's delirious, she's fearful, she's afraid to walk up the steps. And as a result, she didn't realize, she's so knocked out, or not knocked out, but so delirious, her injuries are bad to her head, that even when she tries to get up, it's just she loses her footing. It's so much blood that she lost. So slippery. We have here the moon card. Lunacy, dark emotions, a wayward soul, natural cycles. A wayward soul stands out to me as one of the key phrases. And lunacy, dark emotions. Dark emotions. Lunacy, someone, lunatic vibes. We have here someone witnessing something, someone bearing witness. Someone witnessing something. Well, we do know that there were witnesses that someone ran away on foot. So there is relevance to that statement. The police seem to have discounted it, and I can understand that they came up with their own conclusions that it's an accident, but there's credence to what the neighbors were saying and what they saw. And maybe this card is not just about the neighbors and what they saw. It could be another witness that, for whatever reason, has not come forward. We have will. Now, I did say that there was 2 or more people. It could be someone, one person leaving on foot, the other person sticking around and eventually being picked up. And maybe that's what the witness doesn't realize what they saw. Maybe they didn't realize that there was a correlation to what happened to Amanda. So it could be just something like that. The will card could also be about someone feeling really guilty about what they know and what they've seen. This card is next to the eye card. And what I'm sensing here is, in order to really crack this case, it's going to take someone, 2 or more, who will finally fess up because they've turned their life around. This card has the key phrases of progress, venturing into one's destiny, coming around full circle. And this could say, okay, this person who bore witness to this it would take them coming forward to crack the case. Because right now, The case is cold and as good as closed, unfortunately, with the police. If no new information comes forward, they're just going to go with this theory that she, succumbed to her head wound injury from a fatal fall. So it literally is going to take this person who has a conscience and to come forward, who turned their life around. And I then encourage the family, as long as they can, to continue to put the word out, have the media from time to time on anniversaries of her death, talk about the case. I'm sure I don't know if they've hired a private investigator or not, but, doing a sweep of the canvas of the neighborhood, people probably came and gone. But, the PI has access to records of when people were living at the area when she was alive, when this happened. So there could be, there could be a good idea to take some resources for that if they really, really want the answers. Because as it stands now, it really will have to be an appeal to this person to come forward. We have the octopus card. This card, the key word is greed, entanglement, multitasking, and high intelligence. I felt like there was a high intelligence operation in the sense that they have done this. They know how to move in and out, cover their tracks, cover their handprints. They were careful in how they did what they did. What's interesting is there's no evidence of a robbery. There's no evidence of a robbery. So it really would be to come and do some mayhem towards her. And then then we circle back to why would that be? If you didn't take anything, did you get spooked? Did she put up a fight and all this kerfuffle? I'm getting a sense of two or more people. One person runs, the other person, lingers around to make sure that they've covered their tracks. Could be. But this card is giving us a clue as to maybe some sort of motive or going deeper, a need to go deeper. We have here greed, entanglement, multitasking, high intelligence, entanglement, multiple tentacles everywhere, networks or something like that. I don't know. Let me know what you all think about that octopus card. Or any of the cards, really. The orbiculum card is like my little here. And it's about sudden insights, prophetic glimpses into the future, searching for answers. And so that's the thing. It's like, I just get a sense this card is sadly saying there's always going to be the search for answers of what the truth is. The moon sometimes is about shadowy figures involved. And maybe it will take like a psychic medium, another psychic medium. I don't know. No. I don't know if they consulted a psychic or not. To further explore clues. What I may do is a part 2 where we go into some additional cards like the defining characteristics oracle. Now that we know that there's someone else, I can use this deck and this deck. So stay tuned for that. I may combine that or do a separate video because this one's getting rather long. Hold on, I'm going to pause here and grab another deck. Oh, and the other thing, before we stop here, the other thing I wanted to mention with this card is I remember Lee saying that Amanda didn't like the basement. And it could be that this is signifying that she had prophetic glimpses. And it's almost like, well, why would you say certain things like that? Like some of the things that he said, I mean, it could just be eerie, uncanny coincidences and synchronicities. But it was like, I don't know. So it could be that she may give us sudden insights, or she's giving us sudden insights and clarity into this situation. The only card in here that makes me think, oh, well, maybe she did fall, is the foot card. But everything else so far in these two sets of cards is leading me to believe that, you know, this is not good. Somebody else is involved for sure. That's me. All right, I'll be right back. So I'm going to try this deck and see. All right. Just going to see if there's any additional information. Strange phenomena involved. Contamination of DNA evidence may be influencing the case. Important details are not being revealed to the public at this time. Okay. Killer may have an item belonging to the victim. So I'm going to stop here for a moment. And I'm going to pull just one or two cards from here. Drunk. A drunk is involved, or somebody who drinks heavily. Maybe someone who's no longer a drinker. Maybe they've turned their life around. I just want one card, please, Spirit. One more card. And grief. Yeah, this person has grief. So the strange phenomenon is an interesting card to me because it can denote all sorts of things. I mean, it's giving a freak accident vibe for sure. But I feel like this reading is saying no, like we are to direct our attention to, away from that. That is not what it appears. It's not what it seems. Heavy speculation came up earlier, and that card could be, we have heavy speculation about, somebody. There's some element of this that we don't need to be paying attention to. So there's that. Strange phenomena can also be like paranormal activity that was going on, that went on during her death, that's continuing to go on now. We have here contamination of DNA evidence may be influencing this case. They did check her, the only DNA that they were able to find was hers. The absence of the DNA is interesting. And maybe there's like one little area where in the home that didn't have DNA, but for whatever reason that area was not tested, or now it's degraded. The evidence is long gone. So that could be a form of contamination. It could be that what they, the samples that they got could have been contaminated. I think what it was is that there was one little bit of DNA that could have unlocked what happened, or that there was someone else involved that could have really sent the case into a different direction. And strange phenomena could be they did some sort of magic to prevent anything from being found on them. Who knows? But the contamination could be that the evidence that was there is no longer available. It's no longer available. And there is a reason why the police won't just outright rule it as an accident. I mean, of course, they want to be respectful of the family, and I can totally get that. But there's some other bits of information that maybe we, or even the family, don't know as to why they would just say, okay, fine, we're going to keep it open, but it's an accident, we think, because there's nothing else. But there's something else that's keeping them for, basically we don't have enough evidence to even move beyond her having an accident. We can't accuse anyone. We can't, we certainly can't point the finger and, list someone as a suspect. We just don't have enough. So we have to go with what we do have. And there was, a report that's a biomechanic report that indicated she could have fallen. So that's what we're going to go on. Okay, so that's telling that there is important details that the public is not privy to, and that's why the police are still seeking, hoping and appealing to someone who has more information. We have here, killer may have an item belonging to the victim. So we have here that the killer, the person, could have something from the home. If no money or anything of value was taken, doesn't mean that there wasn't something not taken. Something was taken. When this person either gets inebriated, that's when their grief really comes out. Or perhaps they were always under the influence when this all occurred, one of the people that's witnessed, and they're overcome with grief. Could be that they drink, and when they drink, their grief really arises. They could even still have this souvenir of hers. And it's a constant reminder of what information they have. The guilt and the grief is eating at them. Now, grief could also speak to her family's grief. May not, it could just speak to her family's grief. And sometimes our grief wants us to have somebody to blame. So I could see how someone would see this card and interpret that way. It could even be the truth, even with all this other stuff going on. But I get a sense there's grief and guilt from someone in the know about what happened to her. So I'm going to stop here, friends. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a part 2 for this oracle reading. We're going to see what clues that police aren't telling us, and maybe even some evidence or location of where evidence could be that was contaminated. So I'm going to take these cards and use them just as inspirations, general questions for that oracle reading. And I'm going to use, this is a couple of the decks I plan to use for part 2. Also, I'll pull from different oracle decks and we'll go from there. But stay tuned because there is going to need to be a part 2. This video has gotten rather long, but I wanted to just take my time with this because it's like I, as Kim, had a belief of it being one direction. And I still lean towards, maybe it was just this tragic fall. But but there's the reader, Kim, who sees these cards, and I'm like, I don't know. I think there's a couple people in the know. And I think they were quite crafty in how they covered things up. All right, let me zoom out. So, friends, do me a favor. On your way out, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you will not miss when I upload another video. Take very good care of yourselves. I will see you all in the next one. Oh, before I let you go, if there's another case, probably not the Jack the Ripper one. That case is a little too big for what I'm ready to tackle on. But if you see another like Unsolved Mysteries case that's on Netflix, like this, because that's what I have access to is Netflix, let me know in the comment section and we can do a reading on it. All right, friends. Bye for now.